Hello, hello. It'll take a few minutes for you to all get here, but that's okay because I need to just sit down and breathe today. It's been kind of a crazy day here. It started out pretty simple, but it just seemed to keep going. But I'm happy to be here with you. So hello, hello. And I have some things to share. We're going to make a card tonight, and I have some things to give away. So first things first, when you share this video, I go through and I pick 2 people from the shared list, and it tells me who shared them. Now I might not have your mailing address, and I'll ask you for that. And I'll ask you twice. I will send you a message, I'll post it on Facebook, and I will also ask in the next live. If I ask and I don't hear from you, then I'm going to move on to somebody else that got it. So what do you get? You will get something called my Make and Send Kit. And basically what it is I put together the supplies that I use to make the card that we make in class. You'll have 2 sets of it. So for example, you'll get 2 pieces of paper, 2 card bases you'll get, but they'll be all prepped for you, ready to go. They'll have the hole in them, and you're wondering, what is that for? You're going to see. You'll get 2 of these kits. You don't get the stamp. You'll have to use your own stamp set. Okay? All right. So share this, and I will go and pick out our lucky winners. Make sure that I know you're here by giving me a thumbs up or a hello, or leave me a message, something, so I know that you're here. And hey, nice to see you. Nancy, Mary, and Tammy so far. Hello, hello. All right. So tonight we are doing a spinner card. And the reason I picked this is because it helps tell you what's coming. I have put together, and I'm going to show you, it's a silly picture of me. It's a picture of me in a video. It isn't a video. It's just a picture of me in a video, what a recording looks like. It's kind of silly, but it'll help you find this class that I'm offering. It's called The Best of 2018. And what I did was I went back through all of my lives and classes, and I picked 5 of my favorites and have put them together in a class. They will come with the Make and Share kit that I just talked about, but it will be ready for doing. So you'll get 5 different projects that I've done. You will get the materials that you need to create them. You will not get the stamp set. If you look again at this, and it's up in the classroom now, you can go look at it and get the details, but if you look at it, you'll see it explains everything that you get and what I'm using. It's a stamp set I've not used. It's a paper bundle that I have not used. And so I take these 5 projects that I liked and had fun sharing with you, but redo them with a new stamp set, new designer series paper, and a new little twist on them. So if you're interested in enrolling in that, enrollment closes on the 13th. I will ship them out on the 21st, right along with Santa. And we will do this live, but we're going to do it live using this in a Facebook group, not on a Facebook page. So you'll be able to talk to each other. You'll be able to talk to me. I think it'll be fun. It'll be a little bit different than what we've normally done. Okay? So the reason I picked this card tonight is this is a card that I have done before. And I loved it. It was one of my favorites. And I've made it a few times and I've sent it a few times, but either you might have forgotten, or maybe you weren't here then. Maybe you weren't following me then, so you might not have seen this card. Hey, Penny. Hi, Elena, Patty, hey. All right, so I'm trying to read and my glasses don't let me, so I'm doing that Karen Peary thing. All right, let's get started. My table is an absolute mess. I was going to clean it up, but it didn't happen. So today was a simple day. I thought I had to, as you know, I've talked about my mom for a while, a lot of times in my classes, and a lot of you know about Mom. She lives in, it's going to sound terrible, she lives in my daughter's garage. Not really. My, we took the garage and turned it into this super duper incredible apartment for an 86-year-old that's losing her vision. So it's really handy and it's right there. So we started out at the doctor's today. Easy peasy doctor's checkup, no big deal. She got a great report, so she was really excited. I get home and I drop her off and I come home and start working on my cards. And again, I live like minutes from her. And I'm talking too much. But anywho, her hose sprung a little tiny leak on her washer, but it was spraying like this mist. And of course it was hot water, naturally. So a few phone calls and a lot of running around, but it's all been fixed and she's all good now. It's really steamy in there though. Okay, so first things first, here's our sketch. We are going to start with our base card, and we're going to start with a piece of designer series paper that's cut to 4 by 5 1/4. All right? So I didn't cut anything yet because I want you to see it. And I am using, oh, I popped all these in here too. I am using the Animal Expedition designer series paper. And it looks like a rather hefty list of supplies, but once you look at it, you'll see maybe you don't necessarily need all of those, or there's other things that you could use. I wanted to be sure that you could see everything that I'm using. So this is Animal Expedition's designer series paper. It does come in 12 by 12 sheets. I've cut these down. And remember, the cool thing about designer series paper is it has 2 sides. One side might be kind of a bold print and you're thinking, well, yeah, that's really cute, but I don't think I ever really would use kangaroos. You'd be surprised, you might. But on the other side is this really cute animal print, and you might use that. Or Calypso Coral is my fave, so that's what I'm going to be using. And the other side is the animals, but they're really little, and I like that too. But for this card, I want to use this. The size it asked for, I'm going to flip that back up for you. It's 4 by 5 1/4. Disregard that circle in the middle. Don't worry about that right now. Okay, so 4 and 5. Isn't it cool, Tammy? I love this one. It's so cute. I love the animals. I do really like them. I would use that designer series paper, but some people look at it and say, not for me. I know, Kathy, right? Leopard? All right, so here's the trick. Oh, and if you were here the other day, you noticed I ran out of snail and my order's not here yet. So I don't know how this happened, except that I've been creating a ton of cards lately. So I am using Fast Fuse. It is now gone, gone, gone. So don't wish that you had this. I'm really sorry. This was one of those adhesives that Stampin' Up! Had. Some of us loved it, but there was a trick to using it, and it caused a lot of people to be unhappy. So it's been discontinued and it's gone. Sadly, I'm still using it tonight. What I'm going to do is I just want a dab, just a little. I want this to stay in place, but I don't want to glue it down yet. So I'm just going to put just a dot of adhesive at the top. And I'm going to bring this back and line this up exactly where I want it on the front of my card. All right, and stick that little dab down. Now, this is building the front of the card. We're going to talk about why we're doing this in a minute. Now I'm going to bring my Big Shot in. Now, if you don't have a Big Shot yet, notice I said yet, there are other machines that do this. I'm going to have you this way, so I need you to be able to see it. But I love the Big Shot. I really do. There are punches that you can use. You won't get exactly the same look, but you can use a punch. And I will show you that. It's a little trickier because you can't go through 2 layers. This will let me go through both layers together. This is the stitched shape. Let me get under the camera. The stitched shape. And what that means is when I punch it through, it's going to look like it has stitching around the outside. Tough to see on this one if I'd stop wiggling it. Can you see the kind of stitching on the outside? I love the way that looks. Although in this case, you're not going to see it because I'm punching out the center. But this is a good shape. So I'm going to position that kind of in the middle. This set comes with circles, ovals, and squares, and I probably use it on, if not every card, every other card. It's really a set that I use often. It's one that you'll definitely get the use out of. All right, so I'm going to put that on top of both. Now it's the card and the designer series paper. My card is made out of thick Whisper White, so this is kind of a thick sandwich for the Big Shot. I'm going to go through, and I want to make sure it's cutting all the way through, so I'm going to come back, and I'm going to go through. Can you believe there's a bug in here? There's a little tiny, I don't know if you can see him on camera. If you see me swatting, I'm not losing my mind. Okay. Move you over here, Mr. Big Shot. And I punched through the card. And the reason I did this little adhesive is so it would stay in place. And I wouldn't have to line these up again. So the front, but I don't want to attach this yet, and you'll see why in a minute. Get that good and pressed. Okay, so this can sit right here. Now I'm going to work on what's going to spin. Remember I said this was a spinner card? All right, we're going to work on what's going to spin. I'm going to take a piece of Whisper White. Now this is not the thick, this is the regular. And I'm actually going to use my Stamparatus tonight. You don't have to use the Stamparatus for this, but this is pretty cool. The Stamparatus makes expert stampers out of all of us. Even if you're new with this, what's cool about the Stamparatus is it comes with these heavy-duty, scary magnets. Holds your paper in place. This is the base of it, and I can use this because the stamp set I'm using is A Little Wild. That's what it's called. And A Little Wild gives you the front and the back of these super cute animals. But I can use, as Thinlits too, I can use the Stamparatus like this because this, and I'm going to do the bear, this is the clear mount stamp set. It already has the foam attached. If I were using the clear ones, they don't have the foam attached. And I have a little piece of foam that comes with the Stamparatus that I would pop in. Hey, Vicki. Okay, so that seems pretty cool. The reason I like the Stamparatus is, one, it makes me look good, makes me stamp this really well every time. Two, it lets me position it. So I lay my stamp down where I want it, and I bring I have two plates, I'm only using one right now, bring the plate over, and pick up, and it picks up my stamp set. Now I'm going to take my ink, and I am using Calypso Coral, so it's going to coordinate with my paper. And I ink up my stamp, and I bring it over, and looks like I messed it up, right? Gee, that didn't look very good. I'm going to try it again. Pretty good. Still looking a little wonky over there. All I need to do is put a little bit more ink on. Now, if I were doing this with a block, I would not be able to fix this. Bring it over. Make sure I press down even all the way around. Look how cool my little bear looks now, right? Stamparatus let me do that. I would not have been able to get that good without the ability to go over it again. Well, I might, but I might have messed it up too. Okay, so there's my little bear. And take him out. And this stamp set, A Little Wild one, and the reason I picked it is because it has the front and the back, right? He's going to spin around, so he needs a front and a back. It also comes with coordinating Thinlits. And this may be one that you just wouldn't have necessarily thought you needed. You might have thought, well, it's kind of baby. It's really cute. It's good for baby cards and things like that, and for little kids, of course. But for those of us that haven't grown up yet, it's cool for others. Okay, so I'm going to take the bear, And I'm going to run him through the Big Shot. Melanie, how's everything out west? Are you good? Melanie, I know it's not Seattle, but it's out that way, right? I'm terrible. Don't put me in a car and tell me to go somewhere without a map. So I'm lining him up. Oh, you can't see him because I've got too much stuff on my table. All right. So I just lined the Thinlit up right around him. And I'm going to pop this right through. Make a noise. Now, this is also a really great stamp set to color. And if you haven't colored anything since you were 5, this is a great stamp set to work with. And I love the watercolors. I love the blends too, but the watercolors are really super forgiving to get started with. So I just want to show you a little bit about watercoloring. I'm not going to spend a whole bunch of time coloring, but what's cool, they come in all the colors that coordinate, so I can do Calypso Coral. And it tells you in itty bitty little print what it is. Another reason I love Stampin' Up! Their colors all go together and everything coordinates. Papers and inks and stamps, right? I don't know what I did before GPS, Tammy. And before my phone to tell me when to turn. I'm not sure. That's why I got lost every time I took my kids to soccer and hockey games. They still tell the story about yelling at me. Okay, well that's good. All right, so I'm gonna color. And what's nice about watercolor pencils, you don't really have to worry necessarily about which way your lines go, or you kind of want to stay in the lines, and you want to put a little darker shading in, right under his tail, around his neck, and you're looking at that thinking, it does look like you're 5. Wait, I'm going to make it look really cool. The coolest tool is called a blender pen. And you notice I am keeping my watercolor pencils, I'll zoom out a little. My watercolor pencils are in a stamp set, an empty stamp set. And yes, you can buy these. They come in sets of 3, I think. I use them for so many things. Right, Kathy? I get lost all the time. All right, so this is a blender pen that works with your watercolor pencils. And it just literally blends those lines in so that you can't see. Now, if I were using a lot of water with watercolor pencils, like the Aqua Painter, or trying to get a different look, then I would have wanted to use a different ink. But because I'm using the same color as my ink, if it happens to run a little, it's not going to hurt anything. And my blender pen literally blends those crazy lines right in, and as it dries, you won't see them at all. So I would do the front and the back of him, and then I'm going to fold him right down so he lines up perfect. And I'm going to snip off this little tag. This is here, this little hole in this loop, so that he could hang. You could hang him on the front of a gift card. You could put him on a ribbon. He makes a really great tag, but I don't want him to have that for this situation. So I'm going to take my snips and I'm going to snip that right off. Just go nice and even. All right. Next thing I'm going to need is a piece of the metallic silver thread. It's really thin, you can hardly see it, right? All right, and I need to have this the size of the front of my card. I gotta zoom back out because I'm a little too tight. Okay, So I need to make sure that it's going to go from the top of the card to the bottom of the card. And I'm going to snip that off. All right. Now comes the tricky part. I'm going to line this up. I'm going to take some of my tear tape. And put this inside here for my bear. This is crazy, right? All right, and I'm going to take the other side of the tape off. Got really quiet in the other room. Dogs must have decided I wasn't coming. There's all three. And then this one. Okay. So this is going to come down, but not until I take this piece of thread that I just cut and I pop that down through the middle. And I want him kind of in the middle. Like so. All right. Stick that down right in the middle of my tear tape. Let me zoom in so that you can see. All right. And then I'm going to bring this over, line it up, and stick. So now this little piece of silver is sticking out of the top and the bottom. All right. Okay. Almost to the point where this actually looks good. Now he is going to go right in here. Now remember I said I just put a little dab. If you use snail, it's easy to pull off. With a fast fuse, it's not as easy, but we can still do it. And I lift it up, and I'm going to put a piece of tear tape right across the top. And one at the bottom. All right, and I'm going to tear off the tape, the top part. I'm only going to do one at a time. I'm going to pop this little dude in here where I want him and stick my thread where it belongs. Then bring this down. And then I just need adhesive along the sides, because once I stick this, I can't get in there. So I'm going to go down my side. And across the bottom. Pop this other piece of tear tape off. Really? Bug. There's now a bug on my card. Get out! I think he likes the bear. All right, hold on. Little bug, if you mess me up, this is a tricky part, and I've got all this stuff stuck to myself. Did you guys see it, or you think I'm nuts? I'm just talking to a bug. Okay, pull it down so it's nice and straight. And then bring the front of my card down. Don't go crooked. This is the reason fuse is tougher to work with. It's not forgiving at all. Once you stick, you're stuck. I'll fix it. All right, disregard my mess up here. The whole point was to see this little spinny dude. This is my fault, not the card. And now he spins, right? Okay. That's what happened when the bug attaches you. Now, we're going to do the inside. If you look at the stamp set, it has this cute little beehive with the bees, and it has some grass. I'm going to line that up inside my card so that when my card is closed, you can see them. But it's also going to leave a place for me to write a little note. But I have to remember that whatever I do on the inside, this looks stupid out here. I'm sorry. This is going to make me crazy. All right, hold on. We're going to make a little adjustment. Let me do this over here. You don't know anything. Talk among yourselves. You just have a little conversation while I fix the problem over here. Pay no attention behind the curtain. It's all good. Ta-da! It's a different color, but it's gonna be good. We're gonna make this work. I can't look at that mess. Pay no attention. So when that happens in real life, the world did not come to an end. Just do it again. It's just paper, right? It's just paper. I wanted to show you how to do it. Thank you, Nancy. Pay no attention. It didn't happen in real life at all. Let's hope my bug doesn't come back. I'm going to blame it on him for sure. Get off. Okay. So you put your little guy, make sure he's in the middle, stick him down, pull the bottom one off. Make sure it's nice and straight. Pop it in. Bring this down. Ta-da! There. Much better. I like it better. Okay? So it's not Calypso Coral anymore. Now it's going to use some of the green, but I'm not hating it. And my bear's a really cute color. I'm going to color him a little bit more. But notice I have this space back here. I could do a couple of things. I could take some of this Designer Series paper and just pop it in there if I wanted. I could, remember when we punched this through, we got a circle. So I could, if I wanted, I could take this circle and pop this right in like so, and that would look kind of cool. Or I can make a scene over here. So what I'm going to do is move this guy over. And where did they go? Where did I put them? I have these already done. Oh, they're right here. So I have the hive and the bees set up the way I want them. And then I have the grass over here on the other side of my block. So I am going to use some crushed curry. Oh, I need to zoom out. You can't see what I'm doing. And I need to figure out where I want that. Right about there. I don't care if it all shows, but I want some of it to show. Yep, that works. And now this is my grass. And I switched to the blocks because I wanted to show you what doesn't happen with the Stamparatus and what does happen with the blocks sometimes. If you are a very careful, cautious stamper and you take your time and you're not rushing or not paying attention, you won't get these little ghosts. See these ghost things that I got? That is because I rocked my stamp set. Now, I didn't really think that I was doing that necessarily, but I pushed a little too hard on the top part of the stamp, which got me the edge that was dipped in the ink. If I'm pressing with the Stamparatus, that doesn't happen, okay? It also doesn't happen if you pay attention. It's completely possible to do this without getting those kind of whiffs on your stamp set. But Stamparatus does make you, as a beginning stamper, it makes you a better stamper. And I'm going to take some garden green. I mean, I'm not worried about it. It's going to be fine. It shows that I made it by hand. Notice how you get that on the top. If you're careful, you don't. But now I've got to come back with the grass, and I need to make sure I get it in the right place, so I'm eyeballing it. If I were using the Stamparatus, I could set it up ahead of time and have it attached to my plate, and I wouldn't need to guess. Okay. So my grass shows, my bees and my honey show, and my hive, right? Now I have a choice. I have this cute sentiment, and I could make it be right here and show. If I don't want to distract, I could put it on here, or I could put it up here in the middle, which is where I'm going to put it. And then I would have room and it says, "Hello there, honey bear." What I love about this card is the action, right? He's super cute. And you could do him, it doesn't have to be this stamp set. You could make the front and the back of a flower or a heart or a shape. You could even do it with a circle. Lots of different things that you could do with this technique, but make other varieties of cards. All right. All right, so 2 winners will get picked from tonight's live. And honestly, tonight is definitely live, and you can tell that. And I love that. I really do. I watch some people's videos, and everything's perfect, and I think, it doesn't always go like that. Sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't. So what would I do if I really hated my ghosts? Is there a way to fix this? There sure is. Remember I told you I cut this circle, right? So I could pop this circle right in like this, and I could start all over again, and it wouldn't even matter, right? So let me show you how that would work using the Stamparatus so that you can see the difference and why I think it's such a great tool. So I bring the Stamparatus in. I just pop my circle wherever I want. Doesn't really matter where it's going to be. And I'm going to use my honey, but I'm going to clean it off before I bring it in there. Kathy, yeah, I have more coming up. I do. Kathy's looking for more gift cards and bags and boxes. And I am. Not tonight, but I do have some coming. Yes. All right, so there's our hive and our bees. And here's our grass. This is the Stampin' Scrub. So this is tool night, apparently. I hope you were able to pick up some of the deals this week. If not, there's always more. I know this is the time of year when you're not really buying for yourself. I know. I kind of want you out of the way. And where did I put you? Is this going to show? Let me think. I don't need the sentiment because that's still there. So all I need to worry about is the hive and the bees. So I want the hive to go there, and I want the bees to go there. There's also a cute flower, but we're not going to worry about those right now. That's where they're going to go. So I bring this over, pick them up, lay that down. Then I take my ink and ink it up. And then bring this over. And I don't have any, let me bring you in so that you can see. Bring this over. And no ghost lines, nothing. Everything looks fine and dandy. While you're looking at it right there, I'm going to bring in my a little bit of early espresso. And I'm going to color in my hive. I have to say I really do love coloring. Watercolor pencils are a really inexpensive way to get started. And then you can go to the blends. The same techniques that you use to watercolor, the shading and the light source and all of those techniques work really great with blends. Blends are an alcohol marker. They're really cool. Now if I didn't want the kind of bleeding, see where the color of the stamp is bleeding a little bit? It's because it's a watercolor and it's a water-based stamp. So what I would use is the stamp the ink pad stays on. And it stays on, literally. Okay, so now we're going to take our Boo Boo card over here and we're going to grab some dimensionals. And pop a couple dimensionals on here. And no one will ever know. Well, you'll all know. So don't tell anyone that there's a boo-boo under it. And this is going to go, whoops, right here. I want my grass to still show. All right. And when I bring that over, I wanted it to line up, and I was trying to think about how to keep the grass, but so to make sure it lines up, pop it in back in the circle, bring it down. It's not going to quite cover what I need, but that's going to work. I can bring my grass back and give it a little, and I am all set. And my little spinny guy is good to go. All right. Well, thanks for coming tonight, you guys, even with my crazy hectic day. And I will see you soon. Bye.